Man, I can't wait to watch Leclerc win this race. Bruh, this has to be the funniest championship of all time, man. Because Verstappen literally can't fight for wins anymore. Heck, he can barely even make top fives. McLaren and Ferrari are pretty evenly matched now, and as a result, they're taking points off each other. I know Max has been depressed because the car is ass, but at least the amount of damage being done in the championship is minimal. Still though, finishing behind Norris after he started 15th shows you just how much of a howler he had. I'm not gonna lie, I expected better from Max, but I guess everybody has off days. McLaren now lead the constructors, and now Lando just needs to lock in for the drivers. There's still time for him to make a comeback, but it's looking a lot less likely for anyone else. Because after qualifying, I really thought my boy Charles would come swooping in and win the championship. Step 1 would have been to win and break the Baku curse. My guy has started on pole 4 times and still hasn't won yet. But a big man like Oscar, what can I say? He had other ideas.
Brave is he feeling on the brakes? It's a dive bomb move! Extraordinary stuff from the Australian!
McLaren were like, alright guys, time to prioritize Lando. And then he went and did this in qualifying. Nah, but to be fair, it wasn't really his fault. There was supposed to be a yellow flag because of Ocon. Then we got told it was a white flag, but to me, I couldn't even tell the difference. I don't know, maybe you guys agree, or I'm just colorblind. But nonetheless, there was a flashing panel for about 1 second and then it went away. And obviously, seeing a slow moving car and going into a blind corner, it would have been risky to keep pushing. He could have lifted a little bit less, but hindsight is always 20/20. Just a bit unlucky in the end, but initially, I'm not even gonna front, I thought he choked again. He did have a really good comeback drive to be fair. Kinda lucky to get P4 because Sainz and Checo were beefing. And on that real quick, to me, that was a racing incident. It didn't seem like Sainz moved the wheel and neither did Checo. It was actually one of the dumbest collisions I've seen. Both drivers could have been more spatially aware in my opinion, because this is the kind of thing I've done in F1 open lobbies. It was unfortunate because they were having such a great battle. Carlos was temporarily on the podium and Checo was having such a great race. Took me back to the 2020 days when he was just so cold. All weekend he was dominating his teammate. And that's something I thought that I'd never say ever again. Especially after the race in Miami last year. It seems like the changes made to the floor this weekend have gone more towards Checo and away from Max. Not sure how the rest of the season will play out now that Verstappen is becoming seemingly more and more dissatisfied with the car. But regardless, Checo was cooking up a masterpiece up until that moment. And speaking of masterpieces, let's get back to Piastri. Genuinely, this guy has become a massive problem. McLaren actually created a monster in Hungary. They watered down his debut win through incompetence, and I just know it was bugging him. People calling it a gifted win, he was like, say less, and pulled Norris's pants down in Monza. I know he wanted that win so bad. He probably knew it was his last chance to get a second win before McLaren intervened with team orders. But just like the OG Mark Webber,
fantastic guys, not bad for a number 2 driver, cheers.
He proved he's more than just a number 2 driver. Everyone's been waiting for the moment where this guy would finally figure out how to manage his tyres. Well, I think that moment has officially arrived. It's actually over for the rest of the grid now. The way him and Charles were pushing was just crazy. Like, look at this shot right here. Piastri made his move early and then proceeded to put on a defensive masterclass. There were so many times I thought Charles was just gonna breeze past, but Oscar kept him behind so well. Managing his battery, placing his car in all the right places, and hold on. I hope you guys didn't forget. Belgium this year, he says, clean air is king. So he makes his move as soon as possible and maintains the lead right until the very end. Leclerc ended up finishing his tyres after probably thinking he'd be able to get past easily. But Oscar said, nah, I'd win. This man may not be the fastest guy on a Saturday just yet, but his sheer racecraft and intelligence on a Sunday more than makes up for it. Charles on Saturday was in a league of his own, and just based off Sector 2 alone, we should rename the Baku street circuit to Leclerc's backyard, which makes what Oscar did even more impressive. Seeing these two go hit for hit was just beautiful. And cleanly too, none of that Verstappen-Norris BS in Austria. What also made a big difference for Oscar was that McLaren were running less downforce. Charles was able to close up through the middle sector, but crucially, Oscar was consistently able to get a better exit out of turn 16. To me, this was a real coming-of-age drive from Piastri. Oh yeah, and quick plug, if you ain't seen my video on him yet, I'll leave it in the description for you to watch after this. When I think back to the first stint, Charles was actually in a league of his own. It's crazy how much he gapped Oscar on the mediums, and I think in hindsight, Ferrari should have brought him in on the same lap as the Australian. But having said that, I don't think Charles would have been able to keep him behind. The McLaren was much better on the hard tyre, judging by the way Piastri was driving nearly flat out lap after lap. Even Leclerc was like, this guy's moving crazy. And when you look at the superb first stint Lando did on the hards, yeah, their car was working nicely. On that real quick, Norris did a great job holding up Checo to protect his teammate from the undercut. And Perez was really complaining like, he's holding me up, man.
That's you! That's not them. That's not me.
Charles did everything he could in my opinion. The only error he made was allowing Oscar to mug him. But I don't think he expected the dude to have such insane race pace. Now, I've seen people starting discourse on the McLaren being illegal because they saw this low quality video on Twitter. Honestly, since I ain't got a mechanical engineering degree, I'm just gonna quote Blake here. It's just good engineering. If it passes the FIA checks and they gain an advantage from it, then I don't see an issue. I don't mind people having suspicions and questioning the rulebook, but I'm just saying, don't be that guy who's like, McLaren are cheating. I don't know, it just seems kinda salty. Just give Oscar his props. He drove an incredible race. He finally got to celebrate a win properly. Had his mum there to celebrate as well. I ain't never seen bro this happy since he won Grill the Grid. Him and Leclerc were moving like prime Hamilton and Verstappen in 2021, just without the terrorism. And this is a perfect segue into their performances because they straight up just stank. Max had no grip and Lewis, starting from the pit lane, couldn't get past Bearman for about 30 laps. And me watching, I was like, nah, no way he's about to get cooked twice in a row. First in Jeddah and now Baku. What happened to my GOAT, man? Nah, but it ain't a normal weekend without Mercedes pulling off some nonsense. Because why is my brother having to hacksaw the steering wheel? Clearly there was something wrong with that car. I don't know what they did to it, but Toto himself said they ran some experiments that didn't work. At least we got this tough graphic though. What's crazy to me now though, is that this uncle is now racing against drivers who idolized him growing up. Bearman and Colapinto though, I have to stand up and give you a round of applause. Both drivers beat their teammates in qualifying. Ollie got past Hulk for the last points place, making him the first driver in the history of the sport to score points with 2 different teams in the first 2 races. And upon his debut in F1 next year, I can already tell, this is the start of great things. Every time he stepped in for another driver this year, he's been on point. And Colapinto,
this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
I don't know what we can do to get this man to stay on the grid next year, because what I've seen in these past 2 races from him is enough for me to want to see him have a full-time seat. He's charismatic, he's popular, and most importantly, he's fast. Bottas, I can't lie bro, you've had your time. Ricciardo, again I love you, but there's a new Australian superstar in town. Zhou, he's got that China back in. I don't know, it doesn't look like there'll be an opportunity for him next year, which is such a shame. We actually need more teams in this sport. Because there are talent in F2 who will never get the opportunity to drive an F1 just because luck wasn't on their side. You've got guys like Aaron, Bortoletto, Pourchaire, Lawson, all without seats, who I think would do great. The fact that Colapinto is putting on an absolute clinic with just 2 races worth of experience and probably won't have a drive next year, that's just criminal. But hey, I guess we'll just try to enjoy him while he's still around. His teammate Albon had an amazing drive too. Alongside McLaren, Williams were very much big winners this weekend. Alonso quietly cooked up a masterclass as well. I mean, he's been doing it for a few races now, and hopefully, Aston can get their act together now they've got Newey, because he's still maximizing results at the age of 43. His teammate gets tangled up with Tsunoda and both are forced to retire. The Saubers are not even worth talking about, to be honest. I'm sorry if you're watching as a Zhou or Bottas fan, but literally, nothing happened for them that race, other than they raced each other a little bit. Oh yeah, Russell managed to fraud his way to another shock result. First Austria, and now a Baku podium. They were nowhere all race, and then he just spawned into 3rd.
What do you hope for tomorrow's race? What is the best scenario for you think?
Top 4 crashes and we win.
I gotta tip my hat to George for the consistency. He's always been up there in qualifying, which has opened up opportunities in the races. In order to capitalize on the misfortunes of others, you actually need to be there in the first place. And what he said about how inconsistent these Pirellis are as well was spot on. Coming back to this championship fight though, I'm really wondering what Abu Dhabi is gonna look like. Because unless Red Bull get their act together with a car, I don't see them winning another race this year. It's like Max is trying to defend his title with one hand tied behind his back. It reminds me of that car scene when McQueen has a massive lead only for his tyres to get boomed off the map. Jake Hicks and Strip Weathers close him down right until the very end, only for the result to be declared a 3-way tie. If you've got 2 McLarens and 2 Ferraris consistently taking points off each other, it's going to make it difficult for Norris to close in as much as he needs to. We could very well end up in this strange situation where Max wins the title, but it's like the most anticlimactic thing in the world. He doesn't do anything special, just finishes in like 6th or something after a string of races with no podiums. Equally, if Norris wins, people will look back on the season at the number of mistakes he made and be like, he should have won this ages ago. In his case, it'll feel like the best driver didn't win in the end because he's just been too error prone. But at the same time, you can't say he won't deserve it. To come back from that far down would be a huge achievement. And yeah, I know, he should be doing more and winning every race. Still, it'll be impressive. Finishing ahead of Max today was crucial. And I really believed that Charles would enter the conversation if he won, only for Oscar to start moving like 2018 LeBron. Every race until the end of the year is now going to be so interesting. The performance between all the cars has been ebbing and flowing from race to race. Drivers are now able to show their true skill behind the wheel and really make the difference in crucial moments. F1 is just in a really great place right now, and I'm really looking forward to these last 7 races. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little review. Let me know if you did, and I'll try and make some more similar style of content covering everything from the race weekends. Honestly, there's usually so much to talk about, so having it all in one video after the race on Sunday, I think would be pretty good. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new to get my latest videos in the future. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.